Operation manuals are worth their weight in gold, and I'll tell you why designing your own has to be a priority. Welcome to another edition of Hospitality Property School. I am your instructor, Jerry McPherson. In this episode, I'm going to be taking a closer look at your operations manual. In the last episode, I looked at who you were and what job descriptions were needed to operate your hospitality property. I talked about assigning the right people for each job, determining the tasks for each job, and what is required to complete each task. This was to be done in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step checklist form. When all the checklists are completed and compiled, you have a working operations manual. I would like to dive into the actual operations manual itself, what it's going to look like, and how it's going to be used. When opening up your completed operations manual, you should have nothing but a series of checklists, and the checklist should be easy to find. To do this, you divide your checklists into categories, and each category assign a color. For example, housekeeping blue, customer service red, breakfasts green, accounting yellow, maintenance orange, and on and on and on. You get the idea. Each checklist details specific tests for each housekeeper, front desk agent, maintenance person, accountant, etc. must take to do their job. The checklists have to be very specific, with step-by-step instructions of what to do and in what order. For example, let's take a closer look at housekeeping, right after a word from our sponsors. Operating a successful hospitality property just got easier. You're a heartbeat away from the crucial training, advice, and support you need to plan, create, and grow a prosperous and rewarding hotel, resort, inn, or bed and breakfast. Does any of this sound familiar? You have a great idea for a hospitality property, but don't know where to start or how to turn that into a real plan. You spend countless hours working on your business, but your organizational structure is lacking and you're tired of having to do everything yourself. Your employees are not living up to your standards and the good ones leave. Your marketing is not working as it should and you're not reaching your target market. You feel a step or two behind your competition. If any of these things ring true, then you already know what a minefield it can be trying to get quality advice and support. Introducing the Hospitality Property School Group. We are travel authorities that have spent thousands of nights in properties of all sizes and classes worldwide, conducting countless site inspections for several world-class tour and travel companies, as well as receive feedback from hundreds of thousands of customers. This knowledge has given us a unique insight into the wants, needs, and requirements of individual and group travelers, as well as management and employees. Instead of reading hundreds of books, thousands of research papers, and wasting time on strategies by so-called experts, we want to be your one-stop shop for all your hospitality property issues. We provide strategies for and aid in the growth and development of hotels, resorts, inns, and bed and breakfasts to create their brand and goals, as well as increase their bookings and profit while keeping their integrity. And this membership site is packed with in-depth practical training and resources on all aspects of planning, building, running, and growing a successful hospitality property, plus the community support you need to ensure your membership achieves its full potential. What makes the Hospitality Property School Group special? Tap into expertise, tap into our decades of experience in the industry. No BS allowed. We're not into overblown hype or jumping on the latest shiny bandwagon, just straight talking honest, proven practical advice. No BS or tricks. Our full commitment. We eat, sleep, and breathe the hospitality property industry. This group is our main focus, and we love helping our group members achieve success. That's what we do, and we're not going anywhere. Are you ready to take your property to the next level? Get instant access to the Hospitality Property School Group. Visit the Hospitality Property School Group at KeystoneHospitalityDevelopment.com hospitality-property-school-group for more information. Before the break, I said I would take a closer look at housekeeping. When a housekeeper opens the door, they do not always know what they're going to find. The last guest might have been extremely tidy, and the room looks as good as it did when the guest first arrived. Or the room could be turned upside down. My main instinct with the first room would be to start with the bathroom. My instinct with the second room would be to grumble and then start with the bedclothes. What's the difference between these two scenarios? I wasn't consistent. And when you're not consistent, you miss things. Today, when I open a room door, I would have a checklist in my hand, and regardless of what the room looked like, I would start on my immediate left. I would check the closet to make sure the guest didn't forget anything. I would check the lamp to make sure the lights were working and was plugged in. I would look in the dresser drawers to make sure the extra pillows and blankets were there. I would continue around the room, checking off my list as I went to make sure nothing was missed. My checklist would have a drawing of that particular room on the back of the page, and as well as checking off my list, I would check off each area of the drawing as my tasks were completed. I would do the same in the bathroom, kitchenette, at the windows, under the bed. My checklist would also have space for any repairs required, and if necessary, I would fill out a request for maintenance form. The checklist would cover every detail of that room, and when the checklist and the drawings were all marked finished, I would feel confident that this room was complete. I would then sign the bottom of the checklist confirming everything is done. Now, you might have some employees who do not like the idea of being monitored like this. I've heard some say they felt like children. Have you ever gone into a grocery store knowing you had to pick up 3 items, got to the store, and only remembered 2 of the items? If you had a checklist, this would not be a problem. If you run into this problem with employees not wanting to change, ask them how they would feel the next time they jumped on a flight and they found that their pilot and co-pilot did not do a pre-flight check, or the next time their car was in for a safety inspection and the mechanic just looked at it and said, looks good to me, without looking under the hood, or their child was in to see a doctor and the doctor just touched their head and said, perfectly healthy. They might be a little concerned. We've all heard stories of the person going in for an operation and having the wrong leg amputated or lung removed. This happened because doctors went into the operating room assuming they knew what they were doing. More and more hospitals are incorporating checklists into their day-to-day procedure. You might say, these are all very important. Of course they should do more checking. While your business is very important, employees with good work ethic are important for your business. With this step-by-step system in place, you will be ensured your employees will retain consistency and the chance to show real pride in their work. Okay, back to housekeeping. So the housekeeper arrives in the morning and checks their mailbox. They should have a mailbox to find which rooms will be vacated that day and to get the appropriate package of checklists to go with each room. These would be prepared the night before by you or your night auditor. Each room package would include the room checklist, maintenance or repair requests, and any other special requests for incoming guests, as well as any other checklists you feel necessary. As each room is completed, with both the front and the back of the checklist signed, this package goes to their immediate supervisor. The supervisor can then do follow-up or spot checks to make sure nothing was missed. This should not be taken personally, as in even the most organized companies, there are times when things are missed. If this does happen regularly, however, there might be grounds for reassignment or dismissal of the employee. With a system like this in place, even a brand new employee would not require months or even weeks of training and monitoring. Instead, they would be turning over rooms like a pro in no time. Let's look at customer service as another example. If you have a returning guest, and that guest has a file that indicates they had taken advantage of your spa at their last visit, when the customer arrives, your front desk agent follows a checklist, which includes check guests' likes and dislikes, and they know to ask, would you like me to book your spa appointment for this afternoon or tomorrow? This is done before the guest has even mentioned the possibility of a spa appointment. They might not have planned to use the facility, but now given the option, might consider taking advantage. This is an excellent example of how a checklist could work for an upsell. So you might ask, what else should I have a checklist for? The simple answer? Everything. When the outdoor lights turn on, how much fruit should be in the bowl at reception and what it should look like, what bills have to be paid and when, what items are recycled, how should the towels be folded, how uniforms should be worn. You get the idea. Everything should have a checklist with diagrams. If you have this system in place and work it properly, there will rarely be any errors. It works. In no time, you will be amazed by the number of people who come up to you and thank you for the way they've been treated. In many cases, this will be due to the consistency which happens because of your checklists. You might be thinking, following the same checklists every day is going to get boring for me and my employees. I should mention here again that if your operations manual is complete and used properly, it is worth its weight in gold. But that does not mean it has to be set in stone. It has to be treated like a living, breathing entity. If your employees are working off their checklists and come to you because there are aspects they do not like, you ask them, okay, how would you change it? If they come up with a way that will improve the service or save your business money, change it. And after you change it, reward your employee. This can be done financially, gift certificates, or time off if possible. The only guideline you should have is that any criticism is constructive and with an alternative option. Does that make sense? Let me know. Leave a comment. I've seen when employees have been given this type of freedom in the development of their work routine, and they've come up with some great ideas, and in turn, a wonderful sense of pride. I'm interested in hearing from you. Do you have a system in place that works? Do you use hard copy, paper for your system? Or are you more high-tech using tablets and computers that link directly to a database? If you are interested in more detail, I've included sample checklists for room inspections, maintenance requests, and lost and found form in the Hospitality Property Organizational Structural Tutorial, ebooks, and books on the subject. Links can be found on the top menu bar of KeystoneHospitalityDevelopment.com. In conclusion, having an operations manual will not only ensure consistency in your property, but also can be used as an individual tool for training current, new, and short-term employees. P.S. What do you think about our new Insider Tips series released every Thursday? If you haven't seen them yet, they are short weekly videos that are designed to help you, hospitality property owners and managers, grow your property. Make sure to check them out at KeystoneHospitalityDevelopment.com or on YouTube by searching Insider Tips. Now, if you like this video, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts and if you're going to implement any of these procedures. You can support this free podcast by leaving us a review and giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you happen to be listening to it. Every review helps more people find the podcast at no cost to you. If you know someone who might benefit from this video, please feel free to share it and make sure to hit that like button. I appreciate the feedback. Be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell to be notified when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for your attention, and let's continue to work together to put heads in your beds. Until next time, have a fun day.